Yo, 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 brothers. Time for some more RSX action. We're gonna get into some valve clearance adjustment. She's starting to make a little bit of top end noise. Not nearly as loud as I've heard some of them, but you know, we like to keep it up in fighting shape. So that's what we're gonna do today. And we're also gonna paint this valve cover because she's a bit crusty looking. So we're gonna do it 2 at a time. I'm gonna pull this thing off for you, show you what it takes, get it painted, and your boy, Chippy J, is gonna be the tech.
What up, brothers?
All right, so after editing some of this video down and doing the painting and the valve lashing at the same time, this is gonna be a pretty long video. So what I'm gonna do is cut it into 2 different videos and put the painting on a second video that you guys will see later on. Now back to the regular video.
All over the place.
Dude, all over the place. You know, the obvious things first. Top bolts, valve cover, anything that's attached to the top. This hose on the side here, we gotta pull this plate, get all the coils out of the valve cover. Power steering line that's attached to the top. The throttle linkage as well. People.
And then 2 back.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Don't really need a guy to tell you how to pull this thing off, so. Rip it!
Just gotta get this shit out of the way.
Then we get to see how clean or dirty this thing is.
Looks like it's brand new.
Actually, it does look really clean. Somebody kept up on their oil changes. Must have been this guy. And Marat's been really good about it too. The guy,
Clean in there.
the guy he bought it from, he's been really good about it too.
Found this dog humping his cat yesterday.
Really? That's too good.
He texted me, you home, dude? I'm like, yeah, I'm naked. He's like, can you go check, make sure I lock the doors, the dog's inside my cat? I go over there, the dog's like on top of this cat.
Yeah, and that's another thing, since we're in here, might as well check chain tension. See how it feels.
You can't really get
Checking
in there,
chain tension.
but you kind of get here.
Feels pretty tight.
Doesn't look too sloppy either, so. 'Cause that's another thing, if the chain gets really loose, it could also make rattle. That could also sound like the valve's tapping, but bigger problem. But in this case, we don't have that. We just got valve tap.
Just a little tiny bit.
Here are the specs for the valve lashing. This is Identifix that we use. Intake, you can see, is 8 thousandths to 10 thousandths, or if you use in millimeters, 21 to 25, 0.21 to 0.25 millimeters. And then this one's a k20 which you can see is the 3rd block there. So we're looking for 10 thousandths to 11 thousandths of an inch, or 0.25, 0.29 millimeters. So that's what we're gonna be shooting for.
All right, brothers. Like Ari was saying, the small block Chevy shit, it's easy to see when the valve's up, when it's top dead center or whatever. With these, it's not so easy. They have the marks on the cam gears that you're not gonna really be able to see, but there's 2 lines.
The white line over there?
Yeah, those 2 lines. There's one on that gear and one on this one. When those 2 dots, there's a dot on that one and an arrow on this one.
There's a dot on that one. Oh, it's a dot and an arrow.
And then there's an arrow on this one. See it right here?
Yep.
Okay, so that arrow should be up and that dot should be up. And those 2 lines that indicate top dead center, which is down there on the left, that white one,
yep.
And there's another one on this gear. When they line up in the middle there, like a little above where that dot is, that's top dead center, that's cylinder 1. Then you take, which is easy doing it this way, getting on the crank. They tell you, once you get that,
which is going through a...
There's a little hole there.
Hold on, let me get the light, people. I'm always bad at this. There we go.
Yep, so once you get that hole, then from the first one, then you go 180 degrees with the crank, which does 90 degrees with the cams, which puts you at cylinder 3. Then you do the same thing after you're done with cylinder 3, the same thing, 180 degrees with the crank, then that does cylinder 4. And then once you're done that one, and then you do the same thing, 180 degrees, that's cylinder 2, and then you're back to the end.
Okay.
So it's nice because you can hold it like this and just go straight up 180 degrees.
Yeah, it works out nice.
There's that.
Cool. Then you know you're at the next cylinder.
Then that should be now, what you can do is, grab the rockers and move them, and you'll feel that they're released. I seem to be having my most trouble on the exhaust side.
Well, that's where you're hearing a lot of the rattle too.
Yeah,
was mainly-
there's significant. Now you should have a 1,000ths more on the exhaust side than the intake side, but I'm getting like 3 or 4 thousandths more.
Okay.
That last one that I adjusted should be 10
What, number
thousandths.
3?
Yeah, and it was like 13.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like tight on 13, so pretty far out on the exhaust side. I beat the shit out of it, so you know,
Some of you guys might not think it's much, but
it's a lot.
because this guy is very methodical about his engines. And you hear a little tick, he's like, "Oh my God, there's something going wrong. We gotta fix
There
it.
was something going
We gotta do something about that."
And now, look, you can watch now since we're on the intake side. I'll put this up here. Get in here with this is the 9,000ths. Yeah, get in here. I hit the camera just to get in. Okay, now I'm in. That one's pretty tight.
That one looks good. Yeah.
Try to get it over here where we're not. Yeah, it's not. You're not gonna really be able to see as I do it, but a lot of what happens is you think you have more pressure than you do because you have the bend this thing sometimes. So the goal is to get it as straight as you can. So your only pressure is actually from your adjustment. It's borderline. It's right on the edge of I'm not gonna mess with it.
Okay.
Because you have 9 to 11 on the front side. So, and that's pretty tight on 9. So we're.
hell was that?
Jesus.
Somebody's knocking shit down.
Now he's just running into shit. And then we'll go with this one, and that might be easier to see this time. See him in there.
Yeah, it's really tight. That's what you want to see, though, boys. Nice and tight.
Now they're saying if it's too tight, which that's probably just right. That's probably really tight on 10. I probably can't even get a 10 in there, but that's okay.
Because between 9 and 10, right?
Between 9 and 11 on the
9 and 11.
intake side. Little Susie hands over here.
Little Susie hands.
That should be.
Wow, it fell in there.
Yeah, I mean it's
All right.
hard to you get caught up obviously, but it's pretty.
All right.
I'd like it to be tighter.
So how are we going to adjust that?
So here's what we're gonna do, Susie hands. We're gonna take this
Oh my God, the big boy.
just to break it loose. Get on this bad boy. Break it loose. Only 14 foot-pounds, so light pressure. And then we'll take this guy and we'll just tweezle it down just a little. And then just keep checking. Checking. Because it does change when you tighten the nut and shit. Oh, brother, I might have gone too tight. I can actually kind of do it by hand. Oh boy.
Got it good.
I went a little overboard. Okay, let's see. Can you even get in there and see?
Oh yeah, I'm seeing.
Okay. Okay, so that's a little. Oh, too much.
Got it jammed in there.
It's just such a fine. That's pretty tight now. And then what we'll do to get it locked down first before we torque it is we'll take this bad boy, which down in here is going to be a pain. There's not really much room to work with.
So basically what he's going to do is use a wrench so that he can hold the set screw and be able to tighten it at the same time. Because if he just grabs it with the socket, both of them will turn and then it'll get way too tight. So you got to use a wrench and a screwdriver so you can hold the set screw while you tighten the nut.
Dude.
Besides the water we're messing with over there.
Sorry, brothers. It's your boy Chippy J, aka reverse osmosis. Cosmosis, sorry. So I'm all done here. There was only a few out of adjustment. It's good practice though, to set your torque wrench and just make sure all of them are within torque spec, all your adjustments, just so that there's no room for error. So then nothing's moving around at, you know, when you're at 9,500 RPMs, bouncing off the rev limiter and shit, floating valves. Because that's what I do. Everything seems to be legit because we know. I know the. Oh, see?
That one had a little grab?
A little play.
Huh? See, okay.
So now what I'll do is I'll go back and check that valve and make sure the adjustment's good on it. Since it was a little loose for one reason or another. And cylinder, what was that? 3.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember which one?
Valve 1. Forward valve.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like a sewing machine.
All right, brothers. Well, I know there wasn't much noise to begin with, but you know, I am about my cars. With a few simple tools, it's a pretty easy job to do on your own. You know, if maybe you think the timing chain's starting to go or something, making a little noise, check that first. You know, it would take me either actually do the adjustment, probably 2 hours. You know, not including painting it and letting it sit overnight and doing all that stuff. But these little guys, these feelers, with just these and a 10 millimeter and a fucking flathead, I mean, you know, you'll probably do it faster if you're not, you know, triple checking everything as I was. But overall, it looks better now, sounds better. Well, that's going to conclude that. All you K-Motor guys out there, like and subscribe. I want to kind of do, you know, some little things to this. I'm on a budget, obviously, but you know, let me know what you think. You know, what could be next, and then we'll go from there. Later, brothers.